Hello, it's Gabby here for you. Before we jump onto this week's podcast, I just want to let you know about 2 ways that you can work with me. First of all, I do one-to-one coaching and I do that via Zoom, so we can jump on a Zoom call at a time to suit you. The second thing I've got for you is an online coaching course that's 12 modules that you can download straight away now. There will be a link somewhere around these podcast notes. And this is the course that I've designed, and it's got everything in it that I wish I'd have known when I finished cancer treatment and I was lost. So you can download that course now and you can start working towards making this your happiest and healthiest year ever. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, lovely. It's Gabby here from Confidence After Cancer. And if you've been listening recently, we've talked a lot about rebuilding confidence, learning to say yes to yourself, and protecting your energy. And today I want to bring it all together with something I call the Thrivers Toolkit. And this is simply a set of simple daily habits that make a huge difference to how you feel after cancer. These are the practices that I use myself, and I also teach inside my Powerfully You coaching program, because thriving doesn't happen by accident. It's built one small habit at a time. So why do habits matter after cancer? Well, after treatment, your energy, your motivation, and your focus can feel unpredictable. Big goals can feel overwhelming. If you feel like everything's going wrong in your life and you want to change everything, that can feel just too much sometimes, completely overwhelming. But small habits are achievable and they give you stability and progress. And the secret is consistency, not perfection. So one day at a time, one foot in front of the other, that is how you get to building the life that you want with small daily habits that in the end become non-negotiable. And I can look back now and say, over several years, these daily habits have become part of my life. I'm not even conscious of them sometimes. And once I think about recently, I came back from Cyprus. I had a wonderful time on my Cyprus Rocks holiday. It was great, but we did have a lot of late nights. We had a lot of alcohol and a lot of meals. I ate far more than I usually eat in a day because the food there is just amazing. And so my whole routine went out of the window. When I came back to Manchester, I didn't, from day one of being back in the UK, just go back and overhaul everything. I just started by being really kind to myself, some gentle habits, a walk in the morning, really focusing on my hydration because I know I've been drinking too much alcohol. So really upping my water and the energy drinks that I drink, the natural ones, and really a lot of early nights because I know I was sleep depleted as well. So again, it's about thinking, being kind to myself, and those simple things kept my calm energy going and helped me transition back into day-to-day life. So the Thrivers Toolkit that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to pick out 5 of the areas that we look at in that today. And again, these are very simple things that you can do. And as always, with the things that I'm going to teach you, you don't have to do every single one. I'm not prescriptive about this. You might think some of these things, oh, doesn't really work for me, or that's not something I need to think about. And that's absolutely fine. With all of these things, I want you to pick and choose. What do you need? What is something that actually you could just focus on? And now, if you want to do all 5 at once, again, you might get overwhelmed and think, well, this is too much, I can't do it. So I'd urge you just to pick one and maybe try it for a week and see how that works for you. Does it make you feel better? So what are these 5 things? Well, the first one, morning check-in. And I'm a big believer in waking up in the morning and setting your intention for the day. Before you reach for your phone, ask yourself, how is my energy today? What kind of a day do I want to have? Because if you don't set that intention, what I found in the past is if you don't run the day runs you. Do you know what I mean? So life takes over, priorities take over, and before you know it, it's bedtime and you haven't achieved what you wanted to do. So think about, what is the intention for the day? And it could be a simple intention of, I just want to be happy today. That's absolutely fine. You don't have to set the world on fire every day. But I really would like you to ask yourself, how is my energy today? Because as women, our energy is not constant all the time. We work in cycles. Now, you might not have monthly cycles anymore. You know, I don't have those anymore either. But I know my energy comes in cycles as well. Some days and some times of the day, I've got much more energy. I feel much more creative. And those are the times that I might think, well, I'm going to write my blog for this week. Other times I might think, actually, this is time I need to rest. I'm feeling a bit more like my body is asking for rest. So think about your energy levels. What is it that you need today? You don't have to keep pushing through every single day and fighting against your body. I'm all about learning to work with your body. So listen to your body, plan your day accordingly. The second thing I'd like you to think about is movement that you enjoy. So this is not about punishing workouts. I want you to think about movement that makes you feel alive. Okay, so I did a talk about this recently at my Pilates centre where I go, and I've recently discovered reformer Pilates. I didn't even know that was a thing until recently, and it's absolutely amazing. So I lie on the reformer bed. I've had some one-to-one instruction with the instructor to make sure my technique was correct. And it's very much, if you think, if you've been to a gym and you've ever used a weight machine and you're pushing against the weights with your legs, it's kind of like that, but you're not using any weights, you're just using your body weight. And I absolutely love it. It's a 30-minute session. At the end of it, it's very gentle, but I really feel like I've done something. So that is something that I enjoy, something I really look forward to. That is not a punishment at all. So whatever it is for you, and we're all different. You might like different things. You might like yoga, you might like stretching, you might like dancing, or you might like a walk out in nature. There's so many things as well now, amazingly, on YouTube that you can follow. There are all sorts of different channels dedicated to all sorts of different movements. Whatever it is that you like doing, I'm sure you can find an online free program that you can follow. But think about doing some. We know we have to move our bodies, particularly as we get older. If you don't move your body, and I've for many years have worked in an office, and that's really not good for you to be sitting down all day, every day. So think about moving your body and just cherishing your body and making sure that you're doing something today that your older self will thank you for. Okay, think about some movement that you enjoy. The next one is about food, and I always come back to this because I'd like you to think about food as nourishing your body, not punishing it. And sometimes people think about starting a healthy eating regime. Oh, I'm going to be deprived. I've got to eat things that I don't like. Absolutely not. Food is fuel. It's not a battleground. There are literally thousands of foods that you can eat, healthy foods. I'd like you to think about eating to support your energy and your recovery. So think about colourful, real food that loves you back. Try and cut down on processed food if you're eating processed food, because that is one of the things that's not great. And I'm not saying, again, don't punish yourself if you have the occasional processed meal, or sometimes I might go out for a meal and I'm having a sauce and I think I'm not really sure what's in this sauce, but it's occasional. It's not something I eat every day. I like it. I've got such a sweet tooth. I love a sweet cocktail or a sweet pudding, but I don't eat that morning, noon, and night. It's an occasional treat. And when I have it, I don't feel guilty. I enjoy that food because I know that over 80% of the time I am enjoying colourful, real food that's nourishing my body. Okay, so think about food as nourishment, not punishment. The next thing I'd like you to think about is boundaries, which I talked about in last week's podcast, and rest, making time for you. Okay, so rest isn't a reward, it's a requirement, it's essential. Create space for your own time to rest, your own downtime. Do not apologize for it. You don't need to explain. You just need to somehow build it into your routines. I know, again, after my holiday in Cyprus, I needed a lot of rest. I'd had a lot of late nights. My body was crying out for some long nights in bed. Some decent sleep is what I was craving. And I made sure that I got that. And it's part of my recovery. You cannot expect to, what's the saying, burn the candle at both ends and expect not to get ill. People think you can do that for years and it's not going to affect your health. At some stage, it will affect your health. Rest is essential. When we're resting, we could do a whole podcast episode on this. Your body is naturally repairing. It's very, very clever, your body. It's trying to keep you safe, but it needs the right tools to do that. It needs water, it needs nourishment, and it needs rest. So rest when you need to, my love, and do not apologize for it. Another practice I'd like to give you that can really, and this is a great little habit and it takes next to no time, but it can make such a difference. And that is daily gratitude or reflection. So each night, think about writing down, if you've got a little journal or a little book, or you could even put a note in your phone, but just write down that one thing that you are proud of about yourself. And some people really struggle with that, thinking, oh, I'm not really sure. Think about it. And then I'd like you to think about one thing that you are grateful for. It could be a big thing, it could be the love of your family, it could be a small thing, a conversation that you had that day, or something that went really well. But it's really natural for us to always think sometimes about all the things that are wrong, things that we haven't done, things that we should have said, da, 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 da. But if you can focus, even just for 5 minutes, on one thing that you are proud of about yourself and one thing that you are grateful for, it rewires your brain. You literally can change the way that you think. Okay, I've heard people say, well, I'm just a worrier. I've always been that way. My mother was the same. No, that's a decision that you've made. That is a choice. You can rewire your brain, okay, for optimism and for self-belief. So if you like some more optimism and self-belief, try with this practice of writing down one thing that you're proud of about yourself and one thing you're grateful for. Can be one thing. You might want to stretch it a bit and maybe write down two or three things that you're proud of and two or three things that you're grateful for. But you do that every day. And I like to do that as I get into bed, think about what I'm grateful for as I get into bed. And it's kind of akin to back in the old days when I was a child, I was made to say my prayers. And it was more of a chore then, but now this is something that I actually really enjoy. Say my prayers, thinking about the things that I'm grateful for. It rewires your brain to be more optimistic and to have more belief in yourself. So I'd like you to think about the fact I've given you some ideas there, but I don't expect you to do all five at once. The last thing you want to do is to get overwhelmed with any of this. This is not what it's about. It's choosing one habit that feels easy and start there. And you might think, well, this is not making much difference. But if you do these things consistently day after day, it's about small steps because thriving isn't about big leaps, about changing everything. You know, they see this when I used to go to a big gym, you'd see this in January. Loads of people would join the gym on a 1st of January and they're all into this new year, new me. And by the end of January, the gym was empty. None of those people were going because they just tried too much. And then it became overwhelming and they realized it wasn't sustainable, didn't fit in with their lifestyle. And that a lot of those people I know would have been paying gym memberships, but never going to the gym. So that can be counterproductive if you try and do too much at once. And then you start getting into the negative, oh, these things don't work for me. You can do anything that you want to. It's having the right strategy to get you there. And for me, the perfect strategy is small steps done often over and over and over. Get comfortable with that, and then you're ready for the next step, changing the next thing. And every time you follow through, you're proving to yourself, I can trust me again. I am a person of my word. I set my intention and I do it. And it can be a small thing, doesn't matter. There's no judgment here. And again, if you've got those negative thoughts, I'd ask you to start trying to speak to yourself the way that you would speak to a good friend, not the way that little critical voice can sometimes pull you down and tell you that you're not very good. Because I know that you are more powerful than you know. And that is why my coaching program is called Powerfully You, because inside that program, I help women create their own Thrivers Toolkit tailored to their individual lifestyle, their energy levels, their whatever's going on for them, and their individual goals. And together we design sustainable routines that can rebuild confidence, focus, and joy without burnout or overwhelm or pressure. And if you feel that you are ready now to feel stronger and calmer every day, you can find out more or you can book your free clarity call with me. We can jump on a call. It's not a sales call, it's for me to get to know you, you to get to know me, and talk about how we could move you from where you are now to having the life that you deserve. And you can find all about that on my website, confidenceaftercancer.co.uk. And so remember, lovely, you don't need to do everything all at once to thrive. Just start with one small habit today and build it from there. As always, I would urge you to stay safe, stay sane, and stay powerfully you, because you are powerful more than you know. I'm here for you. I'm your friend, Gabby. I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for listening.